My name is Eliza. I want to tell a story I've never shared with anyone. I am almost 18 years old. I grew up in a society where early marriages are common. My life was simple, but my heart was full of dreams. Like many girls, I dreamed of love, of being held, being seen, being understood. I imagined a man who would smile at me like I was the only person in the world. I didn't want diamonds or big cities. I just wanted love that felt real. When my marriage was arranged with Dave, I didn't cry. I had seen many girls my age get married. Some were happy, some were not. I told myself to be brave. My parents were kind. They believed the man was good, so I trusted them. Still, on the inside, I was scared. Not because he looked mean or strange, but because he was a stranger I was now going to live with, sleep beside, and call husband. The days before the wedding were full of noise. Relatives came and went. There were functions, music, and endless photos. But inside my heart, there was a quiet storm. At night, when I was alone in my room, I would lie awake and think about that first night. I had heard many things from friends and cousins. Some said it would hurt. Some said it would feel like a dream. Some said nothing at all, just smiled and looked away. The wedding day arrived. I wore red and gold. My hands were covered in henna, a traditional reddish-brown dye applied to a bride's hands before the wedding. It's part of bridal customs in many South Asian and Middle Eastern cultures. My face had makeup on it. Everyone said I looked beautiful. I smiled at the camera, but inside, I felt like a little girl wearing someone else's clothes. The moment came when I had to leave my parents' house. My mother cried. My father looked away. I hugged them tightly, not knowing when I would feel their arms again. My heart felt heavy. My feet moved, but I wanted to run back. When we reached his home, my new home, his family welcomed me warmly. Smiles, sweets, prayers. But their kindness couldn't quiet the fear in my chest. After the guests left and the night became still, I was taken to the room. The door opened. Soft lights glowed. The bed was covered in rose petals. The air smelled of perfume and something sweet. I stepped inside and sat down, careful not to disturb anything. I sat on the edge of the bed, hands resting on my lap. My heart beat so loudly I thought he might hear it from the other room. I could feel my hands trembling. My lips were dry. I tried to smile, but my face felt stiff. I kept my eyes low. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know him. Not really. We had spoken only a few times before the wedding. He had been polite, but tonight, everything felt different. The door opened again. My stomach turned. I didn't look up. I knew it was him, my husband. I could feel his presence. He walked in slowly and closed the door behind him. I felt the bed shift as he sat down beside me, but not too close. The silence was deep. I could hear my own breath. I didn't dare move. I was frozen between fear and shame. Then he spoke.
"Eliza,"
He said gently,
"I know this is not easy. I won't force anything. I just want to talk to you first."
His voice was soft, softer than I expected. Calm, not heavy or demanding. It didn't sound like the voice of a man expecting something. It sounded like someone who wanted to listen. That made me curious. Slowly, I turned my head to look at him. He was smiling, but not in a bold or confident way. He looked nervous, just like me, like a boy who didn't want to scare a bird sitting on his hand. For the first time since morning, I felt a small wave of peace. He didn't rush. He didn't move closer. Instead, he reached to the side table and offered me a glass of water. I reached out and took it. Our fingers touched for a second. That touch sent a tiny shock through my skin. I wasn't prepared for it. My cheeks became warm. I looked down again, unsure what to do. He chuckled softly.
"You don't have to be shy,"
he said.
"I'm not going to eat you."
I couldn't help it. I smiled. Just a little. But that small smile felt like a key that opened a quiet space between us. He saw it too. He started talking. Not about serious things. About funny moments from his life. About how nervous he was before entering the room. He even told me he asked his cousin how to act tonight and that his cousin ran away laughing. I listened. I watched his face. He wasn't pretending. He wasn't trying to act like a hero or a man of great strength. He was just being himself, open, a little awkward, but honest. And with every word he spoke, I felt a layer of fear melt away. There was a pause. He looked at me with kind eyes and asked, "Can I hold your hand?" I didn't speak. I only nodded, once, slowly. He reached out and gently took my hand. His hand was warm, strong, but not rough. He didn't squeeze or pull. He just held it, like it was something valuable, like I was valuable. He looked down at our hands and moved his thumb slowly over the back of mine. That small movement made my heart race again, but this time, not with fear. It was something else, something sweet, something safe. I looked at our hands and then back at him. He wasn't staring. He wasn't pushing. He was just there, beside me, quiet, kind. Then he leaned slightly forward, close enough to be heard, but not too close to make me uncomfortable.
"Eliza,"
he said, "I won't do anything tonight unless you're ready. I want you to feel safe with me, not scared of me." Something broke inside me when he said that. A wall. A memory. A fear I had carried for too long. My eyes filled with tears. I don't even know why. Maybe because I had imagined this night to be something painful. Something I had to survive. But here was this man. This stranger, being gentle, being patient, being everything I didn't expect, but everything I needed. He didn't ask why I cried. He didn't panic. He simply lifted his hand and wiped my tears with the tip of his fingers. That soft touch on my cheek made me close my eyes. It wasn't about lust. It wasn't about rights. It was care. Deep care. He leaned forward and placed a kiss on my forehead. A long, warm kiss. Not rushed. Not demanding. Just there. Like a promise. A silent promise that tonight was not about pressure. It was about trust. Then he said something I will never forget. We have our whole life, Eliza. Let tonight be the beginning of love, not fear. And in that moment, I knew my story was not going to be like the ones I had feared. My story would be different. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. That night, we didn't turn off the lights. He said, "You can sleep better if the room is not too dark." I nodded. It was true. I didn't want darkness, not on this night. The soft golden light made the room feel warmer, safer. He lay down beside me, careful to keep space between us. His eyes stayed on the ceiling, and mine stayed on the flowers above the bed. But somehow, it didn't feel awkward. It felt peaceful. Minutes passed. Then I heard him speak again. "Do you want to tell me something about yourself?" he asked, his voice soft, like a whisper made of cotton. I thought for a moment. No one had asked me that in a long time. Everyone had been telling me what to wear, what to say, how to act. But he wanted to listen. So I said, "I like drawing. I used to sketch in my school books when I was bored in class." He smiled. "I wish I had seen your notebooks. Maybe you would have drawn me too." I laughed a little. It felt good to laugh. I wasn't expecting this, such calmness, such kindness. I told him more. About my little brother who always steals my snacks. About how I never learned to ride a bicycle. About how I used to imagine getting married and thought my wedding dress would be pink, not red. He listened like my stories were important, like each one was a small gift I was offering. Then he shared things too, about how he once tried to cook noodles and set off the fire alarm, about how his mother still calls him my baby even though he's grown. He said, "I know I look serious, but inside, I'm still scared of thunder." That made me smile again. That made me feel closer. As we talked, our hands stayed together. He never let go. And not once did he pull me closer or move too fast. He just let the moment grow, slowly, like sunlight coming through a curtain. After a while, he turned toward me and said, "May I hold you?" "Only if you want." I looked at him. I didn't feel afraid. I didn't feel unsure. I nodded. He moved slowly and gently wrapped one arm around me. My head rested on his chest. I could hear his heartbeat, slow, steady, real. My body, which had been tense all day, began to soften. I felt like I was not just in a new house, but in a new world. A world where I was safe. He didn't speak for a while. Neither did I. We just stayed like that. His hand moved gently over my back, not to explore, but to comfort. I closed my eyes. I felt like I could breathe again. Then he whispered, "I want you to know something, Eliza. Tonight is not about being a husband or a wife. It's about being human. It's about making space for someone else's heart." I didn't know what to say. My throat felt tight with emotion. No one had ever spoken to me like that. He wasn't talking about love as a duty or a right. He was talking about love as a shelter. I wanted to cry again, but this time it wasn't from fear. It was from feeling seen, from feeling respected, from realizing I was not alone in this room, not with a stranger, but with someone who truly cared. He didn't kiss me right away. He didn't ask me to do anything. He simply let me be. And in that silence, I felt something bloom inside me. Trust. Slowly, I lifted my head and looked into his eyes. He was already looking at me, but not like someone waiting for permission. Just watching. Just present. I leaned forward, just a little, and kissed his cheek. He didn't move. He didn't gasp. He smiled, the softest smile I had ever seen. Then he asked, "Can I kiss you?" I nodded again. He leaned in slowly. His lips touched mine, and the world became quiet. It wasn't fast. It wasn't wild. It was soft, like touching the surface of still water. My hands reached for his shoulders. I didn't plan it. My body moved because it wanted to, not because it was told to. The kiss grew deeper, but never rushed. And in that moment, I felt something I never thought I would feel on my wedding night. I felt safe inside my own skin. We didn't try to be perfect. We laughed when our hands bumped. We paused when we didn't know what to do. And that awkwardness, that beautiful human awkwardness, made everything feel more real. He kept asking, "Is this okay?" And I kept saying, "Yes." Every time he asked, I felt more respected. Every time I said yes, I felt more in control of my own story. There were moments when we just held each other, moments when we whispered silly things, moments when we forgot the world outside that room. When we finally fell asleep, the sun had started to rise. My head was on his chest again, his hand on mine. I remember thinking, this is not what I was told it would be. It's better. Not because of what happened, but because of how it happened. Before my eyes closed, I said something quietly. "Thank you." He pulled me closer and whispered, "You never have to thank me for being gentle with you. It's what you deserve." That was the moment I knew. I had not just married a man. I had met someone who understood love the way I had always hoped someone would. I woke up to the sound of birds outside the window. The morning light filled the room gently, like a warm hand on my face. I didn't open my eyes right away. I wanted to stay in that moment, safe, warm, held. His arm was still around me. His chest moved slowly with each breath. I could hear his heartbeat again, steady like the night before. I stayed like that for a few more minutes. For the first time in many weeks, my body was not stiff with worry. I felt peace. When I finally looked up, he was awake. His eyes were already open, watching me with a soft smile. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning," I whispered back. There was no rush to get up, no pressure to talk. He just brushed a small piece of hair from my face and said, "You looked peaceful in your sleep." I smiled, a little shy again, but this time the shyness felt sweet, not scary. We talked for a while, about nothing and everything. He told me about the tea his mother makes with too much sugar. I told him how I always lose one sock from every pair. We laughed about small things, and each laugh made the space between us feel lighter. Later he said, "Can I ask you something?" I nodded. "Last night, did you feel safe with me?" I looked at him. He didn't ask if he made me happy. He didn't ask if he was good. He asked if I felt safe. That one question told me everything about him. I answered, "Yes, I felt safer than I ever thought I could." His eyes softened. He leaned forward and kissed my forehead again. "That's all I wanted," he said. The rest of that morning passed slowly. We got up together. He offered to help me find where everything was in the new house. He showed me the drawers, the towels, the light switches, and he didn't leave me alone for a second, unless I asked for it. When I met his mother in the kitchen, she smiled warmly. She said, "How was the first night, Beta?" I felt my cheeks turn red. I smiled and said, "It was kind." She didn't ask more. Maybe she knew the answer already. Sometimes kindness shows in the way you walk in the morning, in the peace on your face. Days turned into weeks. We got to know each other slowly. He never stopped being gentle. He still asked me how I was feeling, if I needed space, if I wanted to talk. And I asked too. I wanted to know his fears, his thoughts, his dreams. One night, about a month after our wedding, I asked him something I had kept inside. "Were you scared that night too?" He looked surprised, then smiled. "Terrified," he said. "I didn't know how to touch you without hurting you. I didn't know if you would hate me, but I wanted you to feel safe first. That was more important than anything else." I felt tears rise again, the kind that come when someone finally says the words your heart was waiting for. We didn't become perfect overnight. We had awkward dinners. We had days when we didn't talk much. But the respect between us never changed. And that respect became the ground where love could grow, softly, deeply, without fear. Many people think the first night is only about one thing, but I learned something different. The first night is not about the body, it's about the heart. It's about trust, care, and gentleness. It's about beginning something with grace. Now, whenever someone asks me how my first night was, I don't blush or stay quiet. I say, it was soft. It was kind. It made me believe in love. I know not every woman is as lucky. I know many girls walk into that room with fear and leave with pain. And I wish I could change that. I wish every man understood what true strength looks like. It's not in how fast you move. It's in how gently you wait. To every girl who is scared about her first night, I want you to know this. It is your night too. You don't owe your body to anyone. Your heart matters. Your fear matters. And the right man will see that. The right man will wait. And to every man, be the reason she feels safe, not silent. Be the reason she feels love, not fear. Because that is where true love begins, not with touch, but with understanding. When I look back now, I don't remember every detail of that night. I don't remember what perfume I wore or which earrings I had on. But I remember the sound of his voice. I remember how carefully he held my hand. I remember that forehead kiss, the one that told me everything would be okay. That night didn't just change how I saw him. It changed how I saw myself. I was not a gift to be opened. I was a soul to be met. And he met me, fully, gently, with respect. That's what I call love. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.